Welcome back to another episode of TVGP's We Roguelike It, the show where we play every roguelike in history. I'm here in Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Howdy.
As week 3 of Hand of Fate 2. I did a metric. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullet point notes here in my sheet here, so I'm going to let you go first.
Oh, no. You don't get to start with that.
All right,
And
well, all
then
right.
pass the buck.
All right,
You
well,
get to go and you get to host this episode, and I get to fill in the blanks where I played because I
okay.
didn't play a lot. So
All
I
right,
can fill in.
settle in, because this is pretty much all I played this week. I had a revelation with this game and with Hand of Fate 1. I don't remember if I talked about this in my conclusion of Hand of Fate 1, because that was 145 episodes ago.
Oof. Make me feel old.
Yeah, like, that's a real, knife to the heart. I think I like Hand of Fate 1 and 2 so much because it captures the stuff that I like about D&D, but it gets rid of the stuff I don't like.
The other people.
No, it's not even necessarily the other people, because this could probably be pretty fun as a co-op thing. I like, and this is what Hand of Fate does really well. I like the campaigns. I like the stories, the decision making. Like you get to craft this random adventure through this story, and sometimes it's going to go really well, and you finish the story with 50 gold and 20 food, and you had no problem. And sometimes you make it 3 cards into a deck, and you already know you're not going to win.
Yeah.
But what I don't like about D&D is like character building, role playing, kind of you having to create the narrative along with the DM. Like, that's the stuff that I don't find really attractive. So I feel like that's why I like Hand of Fate. It kind of takes the stuff that I like, the stories and the campaigns and the randomness, and kind of chucks out all the stuff that I don't.
Yeah.
So I sort of had a revelation there on that this week. I did finally get the gold token on the Blessings campaign. I think it's High Priestess. The one where you have to talk to the priestess with 6 blessings. I had pretty much the perfect run on that one.
Great signs for my future. It's nothing like I'm going to have to, have a perfect run of 6 to get there. Sure, why not?
The tip that I can give is try and the very first priest you run into that's like, hey, for 6 gold I can give you a blessing. Pick up the blessing that gives you 20 gold when you start a new map. Because at that point, you're guaranteed to have 20 gold, so you can give the next priest 6 gold. And that's one of the biggest ones I did. And then I focused on, like, give me better chances when I'm doing a dice roll or where I'm doing card picks or stuff like that. Because whenever you transition from one map to another, there's always that witch that's like, all right, let's do a dice roll for a blessing. So, like, by the time I got to the end of the second map, I already had 4 blessings. So it's a lot of, like, bending the blessings to what you're looking for. I finally finished the Hermit campaign. That's the one where you're in the frozen forest.
Okay.
That one was really interesting because that's just a dead sprint to the end. Like, it's just
Interesting.
get there as fast as you can to try and beat the boss. I feel like I got the gold because I kept the hermit alive, I believe. But I genuinely don't remember.
Yeah, I did a whole bunch of runs on the Thieves Guild one this week.
Oh man.
I hate that one so much.
That's the bane. I can get the assassin every time.
Is it the same every time?
No. It's random
Right.
between one of the 3. But so the trick that it took me a couple of runs to figure out was The assassin is the one that will tell. There's only one lie, and you can usually get the lie when you're out doing a job with them. So it'll be a lot of like, this person will say they were in the wrong like squad in the army, or this person will talk incorrectly about their background or something like that. I definitely have not gotten the gold on that one because you have to get. I had to look this one up because it was not clear at all. You have to get all 19 clues before you
Yeah, which
correctly guess the assassin. It's just like, oh god, okay, now I can
yeah,
figure out how
which
to do
like
this.
how do I get all the clues?
Yeah, still the thing I have not figured out. I did get another companion, so I now have 3 companions. I had a cool lady with a sword and a gun. So she's
Is that the
been.
lady who's in that town?
Yes.
Who like the poisoner town, whatever it's called?
Yeah, the one with all the corrupted where you have to like save all the people. Yeah, I finally got the gold on that one this week, and I think when you complete it with silver, you get her as a companion.
Okay.
So she's actually pretty good because she will let you redo a pendulum game. So if you totally whiff,
Ah,
you can redo with her. And the one I spent probably the last 2 or 3 days beating my face against is Justice. Um, this is the one. I don't know if you've played this one yet. This is the one where you're fortifying a fort, and there's
nope.
mountain. Okay, so the one saving grace on this one is the map is always the same, no matter how many times you do it, and it's essentially leading troops around the map to gather stone or wood and bringing them back to a location to fortify a fort to repel these invaders. It's brutally difficult, and it is another one where it's genuinely a race where it's like, I gotta go here, I gotta go there, I gotta go back, and forces are always attacking this base. So if you take too long, the northern invaders just overrun the fort and you lose.
Oh,
So
jeez, that
I,
sounds insane.
I ended with like 105 forces, I think, like soldiers in my fort out of 1,000 you start with. And the game was like, oh, shucks, well, you ended up with less than 500, so I guess you don't get the gold. And I was like, excuse me? That's legitimately impossible, you jerks. So a lot of my week has been me kind of bashing my face against a lot of these challenges where it's like, okay, let's keep playing this one to try and play it and say like, all right, this card isn't going to work. I'm going to get that out of my deck. I'm going to put it with a more advantageous card. Like this one, I'm going to need a lot of food. So I'm going to try and get tarts, pies, and exotic lies. That's a great card to put in this deck. I don't want to have the thief prince because he wants 27 food. That's definitely not the thing to do here. I continue to beat my face against the strength one. That's the one where you start at 10 health and you're cursed, so food doesn't heal you. That one's just mean. Like,
Yeah.
it's so reliant on you being really great at combat, which is better in this game, but there's still some fights where you're just like, cool, I'm fighting like an ogre and a wizard. This is not going to end well for anybody. I do have to. I'm now getting to the point. I feel like you and I eventually got to this point in the first game where we had finished enough tokens on the weapons to get really powerful starting weapons. So like you can start a run with a shield that's pretty okay and a sword that's pretty okay, as opposed to like here's a one-hand sword that does like 3 damage. Now I'm starting with one that does like
Yep.
13. And that makes a huge difference on a lot of these.
Yeah, that's a huge like massive difference when, especially when you choose the gear that you bring in. That's like,
Right.
yeah, I'll take this sword specifically down for designed for Northerners on this
Yes.
campaign where I'm fighting Northerners. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
And I'm a big fan of the longer I play, the more fan I am of the sword and board, just so I can do the countering. Because now that I have the timing down on that, it does a ton of damage when you
No,
do the
yeah, the
countering.
riposte stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's especially with like with the Northerners, if they do the three green arrow attacks in a row, you just get 3 free hits while they're doing their business. And it's
Uh-huh.
the timing is a little bit interesting, but um, it's pretty rewarding. Before we get to our last thing, the thing that I sent you a text about earlier this week, do you have any non those mode notes for this week?
The Thieves Guild one can go to hell.
Which yeah,
Um,
that one's rough.
yeah, my problem is I struggle to move on. Like, I've got 3 more unlocked after the Thieves Guild one,
Hmm.
but it's like, no, I need to complete the Thieves Guild one. And
Right,
ideally, I need to complete it with a gold medal before I move on to the next one. It's the completionist in me. Like,
right.
listen to the main show if you don't get that.
Yeah, the strength challenge campaign is the one that took that out of me, where it's like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'm going to have to wait and get way better cards from the other ones before I can even attempt this one.
So my biggest question for you is: are there any individual cards so far, not modes or anything like that, individual cards that you love slash hate?
Um, for love, probably Goblin Town. It's a platinum card. It is a
And I'm guessing that's the one for donating as much as you can to the goblins. You probably unlocked that one.
no, this was a blisteringly long quest line, where you have to. It's actually really fun. I forgot about the dungeon crawling maps from the first one. You know, where you go into like a trap filled dungeon, and you have to like roll your way through a bunch of traps and stuff. Um,
Yes. Oh crap! I forgot about that as well.
yeah, those actually return for this, and it's a lot of like a goblin sort of stole a little bit of your money, and you got to jump into its portal before it went away. So you kind of chase it around the map, and after X number of encounters, you eventually get this platinum card for the Goblin Town. And if you kind of play your cards right in the town, you can end up with like 3 or 4 gold gain cards, which is pretty staggeringly crazy.
That's
Um,
kind of cool.
yeah. The ones I hate, there's 2 of them.
I got one on hate.
Burning Building
Oh,
is the one that I hate.
I
Um,
got 2 on hate.
okay.
Burning building is one of them.
Burning Building, it's a really interesting encounter. And I know that at some point I'm going to get like a helmet or a ring or something that will let me essentially cheese the roulette game.
Mm-hmm.
But I've gone through and I've gotten a success like 5 or 6 times in Burning Building, and it's still like, hey man, you want to go back in? It's like, no, just give me the token. What else? What more do you want from me? Like, please. Um, that one's that one's brutal.
You know what my favorite thing is? We just know because we're that kind of sadists.
Hmm.
We know that that is going to be one of those cards where to get the token, you pull it and you walk away the first time. You don't do anything, you walk away.
I've done that before. Like I actually kicked it out of my deck for now because like I can't deal with it. But lately, when it does come up, the first option I get is just walk away, and they're like, "All right, well, thanks for coming. Here's 4 fame, peace." And it's like, great, I get 4 fame for doing nothing. Perfect, I'll take it.
Mm.
Uh, the other one I don't like is the Fountain of Youth. I feel like I've finished that quest line at this point. But a lot of it, I get really frustrated when they do the shuffling the 4 cards, but only one of them is a success. And to get the next card in the quest line, you have to get like 2 or 3 successes in a row. Those ones I feel like are pretty frustrating.
Yeah.
What's your other non-burning building hated one?
The arm wrestling one.
Oh, I haven't seen that for a while actually.
Because I got all the way up to like stage 3,
Mm-hmm.
and I lost stage 3, and it's like, oh, a new competition will start next time you pull this card.
Yeah.
It's like, go away.
Seeing that message the first time I lost, I was like, "Oh, cool, go to hell. Thanks, appreciate it." Because isn't that a dice roll one?
It is.
Yeah, I feel like I'll have to bring once I start. Is that one has a token on it, right?
It does.
Biscuits. I feel like you got to bring the northerner guy.
Colburn, or whatever
Yeah,
his name is,
I feel like you got to bring him when you're gonna
for that
try
extra
that.
die.
Yeah, just because like I actually had, I had I don't even remember what card it was. I had one this week where it was like, all right, time to roll a die. I remember what it was. I won't spoil it. But the very first one was like, all right, your target is 18. I was like, what? I'm sorry, pardon. I failed it, obviously. And the next one was like, all right, you take 10 damage. Next target, 17. Let's go. And I was like, that's also not great. I failed it. And it's like 10 damage. Here we go. 16. I was like, please, God. I'm begging you. Things got pretty bad before I won that one.
I'm not gonna lie, I did get the token for the vampire, who's dying on the side of the road. I did get his
Yeah.
token before. I got his token by literally, because, spoiler alert, he will keep drinking as long as you keep letting him.
Yeah, I let him
So,
get to like 5 health, and I was like,
uh-huh.
I don't think I should hit the button again. So you like kick him off, and he was like, all right, fine. I was like, bro, this
He's
game
like,
will kill me. Like I don't think twice about it.
uh-huh. No hesitation at all. It's just like, oh, you want to keep letting the vampire drink? That's fine. Otherwise,
Mhm.
you take a best guess, and you hope you know when he'll give you the token for it.
Mm-hmm. I've let him drain quite a bit, but I don't think I've ever landed on the next card because it's always like, oh, go see my friend, he'll take care of you, and I don't think I've ever found the next one.
The next one is a priest who gives you a blessing and heals you, I think.
Wow, nice. Okay, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Yeah, so for blessing ones, that's kind of handy. You just got to know exactly how much blood you're willing to give.
Yeah, how much of a slurp you're willing to let go?
Mm-hmm.
All right, should we talk about the other mode that we have tried this week? I was a
Yep.
fool, and I had thought, why don't we try endless mode? Because I bet it's just like one big 5x5
Oh
map
boy, were you
after another.
so wrong.
I was very incorrect in kind of like an interesting way. Um, my when I thought of endless mode, I thought it was just gonna be like, here's a big map one after another. Just see how far, like how many levels you can make it through, and good luck.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, this is kind of like a full, proper, pretty detailed mode. Um, the big downside to it is your weapons degrade after every battle,
Fame
and
degrades after every map.
yes, fame degrades. And there's one more. I don't remember what. I don't remember it being very big. Um, and to be honest, neither one of those are terrible. It's just you got to make sure you do things to keep up your fame and just try and get equipment cards to keep your stuff. Um, the thing I was most surprised about is when you start like a mini campaign. It's essentially like a chain of mini campaigns. you get to choose what you want to
Well,
do.
you kind of get to choose because
Yeah,
like there's 5 or 6 different enemy types, and it's like here's 2 enemy types, pick one,
yeah,
and then it's like here is 5 random cards of gear that
hmm
you have unlocked so far. Pick 3. Here
right,
is 5 random equipment cards. Pick 3. Here is 7 encounter cards. Pick 4. And it's
right.
like hmm.
Yeah, you get to
Which
make some cool choices.
I will give it credit. This is one of the things that I genuinely love about this as a sequel to the first one. The symbols next to the cards when you're highlighting them correspond with what you're dealing with. So during any campaign, it'll
Yes,
say, okay, you're dealing with thieves. So anytime it gives you something's got a bonus against thieves, it'll have that little thief icon, and
right.
that'll be highlighted in blue. Like that's
Yes, you don't have
really
to
helpful.
you don't have to inspect every single card. It's like, oh, okay, cool. This one gives me a blessing and it's good against thieves and it might give me a weapon. All right, cool. You're probably going to come.
Yeah.
But each mini campaign you get to kind of choose from a like one or two or three things where it's like, all right, do you want to go and do like a strongman competition at the end of this? Do you want to be like lightly poisoned and the antidote is all the way at the end? Stuff like that. And then you get to pick essentially like modifiers on it. You can
Hmm.
pick like up to 4 different modifiers that increase your rewards, but it's going to be like, well, now you fight twice as many northerners every time you do, or your uh your weapons degrade faster, or you use twice as much food as normal, but maybe you'll get extra experience, maybe you'll get better cards, stuff like that. And
Hmm.
at the very beginning, a lot of the campaigns are actually fairly short, where it's like 5 or 6 cards. It's a fairly straightforward path. You kind of do 2 of those and you finish the campaign, and you get to do that whole thing over again where you pick a bunch of cards. Um, but I played for probably about an hour, and I think I made it through like 3 campaigns or so. Um, and it felt pretty fun. It felt way more complex than I was really expecting it to be, and it seems like a cool mode.
Yeah. It's not what I expected it to be.
Yeah.
Like, not at all. And it's genuinely seems pretty fun so far. Like, I think I managed to complete 2 campaigns, and I know there is an achievement for for getting to a certain distance or a certain score with
Yeah, I think
each
it's
of the
like
companions.
100,000 points. It's like essentially it's giving you points based on clearing cards, clearing fights, clearing campaigns, and you seem like you get a bonus for how many of those modifiers you have. Um, so I think
Hmm.
I ended up with like 10,000 something when I did 3 campaigns. But I was playing it pretty conservatively just to make sure I didn't go into a campaign with like 4 or 5 debuffs. And it's like, all right, here we go. This thing's going to be impossible. Um, but yeah, it seems like a cool mode. It's nice that that's in there because I feel like that was one of the biggest problems with the first one. And it will likely be a problem with this one when you finish the main campaign. That's kind of it. So like if you really like Hand of Fate and you want to keep playing more of it, it felt like without this mode it would just be like, well, I mean, you got 22 gold tokens, like what else do you want from me? Replay them, I guess. It's like, well, that's not, I just want to play like more new stuff, and it seems like Endless will fit that need pretty nicely.
Oh yeah, and plus the fact that you can load it up with those things that you need tokens for,
Mhm.
and they do count as being unlocked if you unlock them in endless mode.
That's
So
true. Yep.
you can earn the tokens and shards and stuff like that as you go.
Yeah. But I finally finished my second of those like 5-sided tokens, the ones where you put the silver tokens together, like the token shards. I finally
Mm-hmm.
finished my second one of those. It's like, boy, those are pretty hard to come by for some of these. But they,
Don't think I've even finished one of them, if I'm completely honest.
yeah, I got like my first 2 shards pretty quickly, and then it took a long time before I finished like my very first one. But if I remember correctly, that it gave me like a weapon or a shield or something that was really, really strong. So it's kind of worth doing all of that. Any final notes here for our extended episode on week 3?
Uh, Spoiler alert: Hand of It 2 is still kind of great.
Yeah, yeah. I have been playing a lot of it. It's very much the speed I like, where it's you can pause it anytime. It's a lot of reading. There's violence, but I turn off the blood, so a lot of it's just like bonelessly stabbing a bunch of zombies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really good. It's very much what I wanted a sequel to Hand of Fate to be. It's great. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for listening. And we'll see you all next run. Bye.
Bye.